You're watching Newsline. I'm Shweta Kothari. The Prime Minister has now inaugurated the much-awaited Sonamarg Tunnel in Jammu and Kashmir today, marking a major milestone in the region's infrastructure development. The 6.5-kilometre Zedmore Tunnel or Zmore Tunnel, now renamed Sonamarg Tunnel, was inaugurated in the presence of Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari and Lieutenant Governor of J&K Manoj Sinha. The tunnel is set to transform Sonamarg into a winter sports destination. This could be similar to the renowned Gulmarg ski resort, according to the Chief Minister Omar Abdullah. Now, Prime Minister Modi is also scheduled to address a rally at the site and meet the dedicated workers who made the tunnel a reality. Security has been heightened in the area, with police, paramilitary forces and the army conducting extensive patrols to ensure a seamless event. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari also attended the grand inauguration. Now, this tunnel is a step toward strengthening connectivity and boosting tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, opening new doors for development in the region.
आज भारत तरक्की की नई बुलंदी की तरफ बढ़ चला है। हर देशवासी 2047 तक भारत को डेवलप्ड नेशन बनाने में जुटा है। ये तभी हो सकता है जब हमारे देश का कोई भी हिस्सा, कोई भी परिवार तरक्की से, डेवलपमेंट से पीछे न छूटे। इसके लिए ही हमारी सरकार सबका साथ, सबका विकास की भावना के साथ पूरे समर्पण से दिन रात काम कर रही है। बीते 10 साल में जम्मू कश्मीर सहित पूरे देश के 4 करोड़ से ज्यादा गरीबों को पक्के घर मिले। आने वाले समय में 3 करोड़ और नए घर गरीबों को मिलने वाले हैं। आज भारत में करोड़ों लोगों को मुफ्त इलाज मिल रहा है। इसका जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को भी बड़ा फायदा हुआ है। नौजवानों की पढ़ाई के लिए देश भर में नए आईआईटी, नए आईआईएम, नए एम्स, नए मेडिकल कॉलेज, नर्सिंग कॉलेज, पॉलिटेक्निकल कॉलेज लगातार बनते चले जा रहे हैं। जम्मू कश्मीर में भी बीते 10 साल में एक से बढ़कर एक एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस बने हैं। इसका बहुत बड़ा लाभ यहां के मेरे बेटे बेटियों, हमारे नौजवानों को हुआ है।
And the Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has addressed pressing security concerns during a media interaction today, shedding light on nation's defence preparedness and the ongoing operations. Starting with northeastern border, General Dwivedi described the situation with China as sensitive but stable. He confirmed that patrolling and grazing activities have resumed in the area like Depsang and Demchok, with deployments along the LAC remaining balanced and robust.
Begin with the northern borders. As you are aware, the situation is sensitive but stable. In October 2024, situation in Depsang and Demchok in eastern Ladakh got resolved. The patrolling to traditional areas in these 2 subsectors has commenced. Similarly, the traditional grazing has also commenced in these 2 areas. We shall continue to discuss the effective management of other sensitive areas also along the northern borders. And towards that end, I have authorized all my co-commanders to handle these issues at the ground level with respect to patrolling and grazing, so that the trivial issues can be resolved at the military level itself. On deployment along LSA is balanced and robust. We are well poised to deal with any situation. A focused capability development for northern borders enabled infusion of niche technology into our warfighting system and a whole of nation approach. We are progressing well. हमारी प्राथमिकता है सभी एजेंसीज की सहभागिता, बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को और मजबूत बनाना है.
And turning to Pakistan, the army chief said that while ceasefire agreements hold, terrorist infrastructure across the border remains intact and infiltration attempts continue to persist. He flagged the rising use of drones for narcotics smuggling. On Kashmir, he stated that 80% of the remaining terrorists in the region also hail from Pakistan.
Situation is firmly under control. On line of control, ceasefire, which is effective from Feb 2021 after the DGMO's understanding, is holding on. However, the terror infrastructure across remains intact. Infiltration attempts continue, including from the IB sector or so many other avenues which are available, along with drone attempts to smuggle warlike stores and narcotics. In hinterland, in recent months, increased terrorist activities was seen in North Kashmir and Doda-Kishtwar belt. Our CT grid there has been reinvigorated and tempo of kinetic ops has been enhanced. Past year, 60% of terrorists eliminated were of Pakistan origin. As of today, whatever is remnant in the valley and Jammu area, we feel that around 80% or more are from Pakistan origin. Overall, violence parameters under control, tourism, development activities, Amarnath Yatra, where we witnessed more than 5 lakh pilgrims this time, and peaceful conduct of elections are indicators to a positive change. So the theme of terrorism to tourism is gradually taking shape.
And focusing on the northeast, the army chief noted that situation in Manipur is gradually stabilizing thanks to joint security efforts and proactive government initiatives. However, he acknowledged that sporadic violence continues and reconciliation efforts are underway involving NGOs and veterans reaching out to community leaders. Along the Indo-Myanmar border, the army has enhanced surveillance to counter potential spillovers from the ongoing unrest in Myanmar.
Overall situation in Northeast is gradually improving. In Manipur, synergized efforts of security forces and proactive government initiatives have brought situation under control. However, cyclic incidents of violence continue. शांति और सद्भाव स्थापित करने की दिशा में ठोस प्रयास जारी हैं. Various NGOs and our veterans too are reaching out to the community leaders to give effect to a kind of a reconciliation. Indo-Myanmar border, enhanced surveillance and domination is in place. That is to insulate from spillover of turbulence which is taking place in Myanmar as of now. Fencing is a significant step and we have started to commence a new progress towards this end.
And as the assembly polls in Delhi approach, the national capital and the political landscape is heating up, and the capital is rife with a furious showdown. The Aam Aadmi Party, the Bharatiya Janata Party and Indian National Congress, all three parties are in fray. They are vying for power and have amped up their jibes against each other. While major parties within the India alliance are supporting the Aam Aadmi Party in the upcoming polls, the Congress has heavily come down on up in their attacks against the party. After the Aam Aadmi Party alleged BJP is spreading misinformation ahead of the polls showing photos of roads from Haryana to slam them, the Congress party has now ramped up its social media campaign against Aam Aadmi Party. They have released a series of videos that target former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and accuse his party of making false promises to the people of Delhi which were never fulfilled. In a separate but equally explosive development, the BJP has now levelled serious allegations against AAP, claiming that the party facilitated creation of fake Aadhaar cards and voter IDs for illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. BJP leaders assert that AAP MLA Mohinder Goyal has not cooperated with investigations into these claims, further intensifying the scrutiny on the party. Now, responding to these allegations, Mohinder Goyal said, and I quote, "This is a part of a political conspiracy."
ये सब कुछ राजनीतिक षड्यंत्र है और इसके बारे में आज जो नोटिस आया, मैं तो घर पे नहीं था, यहीं पे चुनाव प्रचार के अंदर हम लोग लगे हुए हैं और उनको मैंने जवाब दे दिया कि मैं इस तारीख को आ रहा। हम कानून का सम्मान करते हैं, ये कोई भी कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत कोई नोटिस आएगा उसका जवाब दीजिए। ये सब मनगढ़ंत कहानी है। चुनाव के अंदर पता लग रहा है कि 17 में 17 सीटें दिल्ली के अंदर आ रही हैं, इसलिए ये चुनावी स्टंट बनाया है।
And adding another layer to this political drama is Delhi's Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena, who publicly refuted Kejriwal's claims regarding the Shakur Basti slum area. Now, during a visit to Shakur Basti, Kejriwal alleged that the BJP plans to demolish slums and hand over the land to builders. In response, Lieutenant Governor said that Kejriwal is deliberately telling a lie, and he emphasized that no land use changes have been made by the DDA and advised Kejriwal to stop misleading the public.
श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल शकूर बस्ती की झुग्गियों के नजदीक गए। वहां उन्होंने शकूर बस्ती की झुग्गियों के विषय में जो बयान दिया वो सरासर झूठ है। उन्होंने 27 दिसंबर की डीडीए की बैठक का हवाला देते हुए कहा कि एलजी ने इस जमीन का लैंड यूज चेंज कर दिया है। डीडीए ने ना तो इस बस्ती का लैंड यूज चेंज किया है और ना ही डीडीए ने कोई इविक्शन अथवा डिमोलिशन नोटिस दिया है। श्री केजरीवाल जानबूझकर कोरा झूठ बोल रहे हैं और लोगों को गुमराह कर रहे हैं। 27 दिसंबर की मीटिंग में जिस रेलवे की जमीन का ट्रांसपोर्टेशन से रेजिडेंशियल में लैंड यूज चेंज करने का चर्चा हुई थी, वह रेलवे की दूसरी खाली जमीन है जिस पर कोई भी झुकी नहीं है। उसका भी लैंड यूज चेंज करने के विषय में कोई निर्णय नहीं हुआ है।
And meanwhile, Aam Aadmi Party has released a new video, a new song on the occasion of Lohri to celebrate its leaders. Now, the song on Delhi Daput Kejriwal was released on social media by Aam Aadmi Party. It's a theme song for AAP ahead of elections.
सुनियो दिल्ली वालों तुहाडा कौन विचारा ओ मुंडा मफलर वाला ओ बिजली मुफ्त कराती ओ पानी मुफ्त पिलाता बस्सां विच बैठ के जांदी जनानी मुफ्त सुनो जी सारे तीरथ कर दे धर्म दे कारज कर दे।
And the Delhi election has once again brought the liquor scam into spotlight with CAG or Comptroller and Auditor General's report that was released on Saturday, sparking a fresh Aam Aadmi Party and BJP clash. Not just this, it has also led to a legal case. The Delhi High Court criticized the Aam Aadmi Party-led Delhi government for delaying action on CAG report, questioning its motives and raising concerns about government's handling of the matter. The court emphasized that the report should have been promptly forwarded to the Speaker for discussion in the Assembly, but noted a deliberate delay to avoid convening a session. Now, in defense, the Delhi government argued that holding session with election nearing would be impractical. Remember, previously the Delhi Assembly Secretariat claimed that the presentation of a report would serve no purpose as the Assembly's term ends in February. The case stems from a petition filed by 7 BJP MLAs demanding a special Assembly session to table the 14 CAG reports. The government informed the court that the reports had been sent to the Speaker. Now, BJP Council argued that members have the right to debate the reports and called for a directive to convene a session. Now, Delhi government dismissed the petition as politically motivated, while the court emphasized the need to hear all parties before making a decision.
दिल्ली के सो कॉल्ड एक्चुअल मुख्यमंत्री, जो वास्तविक अर्थों में फैटल मुख्यमंत्री साबित हुए हैं, जो नित्य प्रति कार्य करने की बजाय उठकर एक सवाल पूछने लगते हैं, जबकि वो भारत के इतिहास की सबसे शक्तिशाली, संख्या की दृष्टि से सबसे शक्तिशाली सरकार उनके पास है, उसके बाद भी वो सवाल पूछते हैं। मगर आज कुछ बहुत गंभीर प्रश्न इस विषय के ऊपर उठकर खड़े हुए हैं कि जो सीएजी रिपोर्ट्स थी, आपको पता है कि सरकार के आर्थिक आय व्यय का मूल्यांकन सीएजी, कॉम्प्ट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल के द्वारा किया जाता है, राज्यों में भी और केंद्र में भी। मगर यह एक बड़ी विचित्र बात है कि स्वघोषित कट्टर ईमानदार एक संवैधानिक व्यवस्था के द्वारा अपने सरकार के कार्यों की आर्थिक समीक्षा को न सिर्फ होने देते, नहीं देते, नकारते हैं और सदन के पटल पर रखना नहीं चाहते हैं। और इसलिए दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट ने भी जो प्राप्त सूचना है मीडिया में, उसके अनुसार दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट ने एक ऑब्जर्वेशन यूज किया है कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट इज ड्रैगिंग इट्स फीट, यानी अपने कदम खींच रही है इन प्लेसिंग द सीएजी रिपोर्ट, अर्थात दिल्ली की सरकार सीएजी की रिपोर्ट सदन के पटल पर रखने से कदम पीछे खींच रही है। यह दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है।
Shifting focus now, Sonu Sood's directorial debut, Fateh, is making headlines. Philanthropist, actor and now a filmmaker, Sonu Sood spoke to my colleague Sakshi Litoria. Listen in.
Sonu, thank you so much for speaking to News 9 directorial debut. Congratulations, first of all, for that. How difficult was it? How easy was it?
No, I would say it was easy, but yeah, it was very challenging when you conceive a story, when you write a story. You have a certain vision that you want to be the narrator, the way you have conceived the whole thing. I wanted something to be exceptionally sleek when it's going to be my first film. So, had to get a lot of people from the West, whether you talk about Loa Kotler, the voice of Dune, a song from Hans Zimmer. Lee Whittaker, the action director who did films like Fast and Furious, Captain Marvel, Jurassic Park. So when you're working with the international team, so yes, and it's very important to make sure what vision you had has to be translated on the film. So I'm glad the way Fateh has shaped up. I'm glad the way the people are loving the whole vibe of Fateh, especially the action, the way it's been shot. So yes, not bad for the first film as a director, but yeah, miles to go, but the journey's on.
Definitely. And there is one question viewers are actually very curious about. It's that you are also a very crucial part of the South entertainment industry. You have done ample of projects. We are looking at a lot of South Indian films dominating the charts. Now, according to you, what could actually be the elixir for the Hindi entertainment industry?
No, I think it's very important to come up with a content that is new for the audience. I've done so many films down south, and always used to say that when you attempt something different, there's always a risk, but yes, that's the time you change the whole game. South has always been trying to experiment with the subjects or the narrative, and I'm glad that in Hindi Belt also has been trying to do. But entertainment has no language, whether it's South or Hindi. If the film is good, it will surely do well. So I feel as long as filmmakers, directors, actors, we keep on experimenting with new kind of cinema, we narrate it differently, people are going to definitely embrace with open arms. Yeah.
And I've spoken to a philanthropist and an actor in the past. Now I'm speaking to a director as well, looking at the entertainment industry and how filmmakers have been commenting on it. They are saying that there's no money in the market, there are no funds, they are launching their iconic projects back to the screen. As a director, were you a bit reluctant and hesitant in launching a new project on the screen?
No, not at all. I felt this film was made for the bigger canvas, was made for the theaters, and it's always nice if you have that challenge where you make a content which pulls you to the theaters and you feel that, okay, this is something I'm convinced about. And yes, I was all game. I knew that, it's always tough to get people to the theaters, but if you make a good content, people will definitely, come in large numbers.
Interesting. Now I have a quick rapid fire round for you and it's going to be really quick.
Yeah.
First one, funniest rumor that you have heard about yourself?
That I've become a director of Fateh 2 also, but yes, that rumor is going to be true, and yes, we are starting Fateh 2 soon.
Last movie you watched in a theater, and it should not be Fateh.
I've been watching Fateh from past almost 1.5 years every single day to make sure what I'm going to do. But theater, I think I don't remember anything I've seen in last 1.5 years.
Okay. Who did you have the best experience while working with alongside?
All the people from Shah Rukh to Salman, whoever I've worked with, I think they are great co-stars and I had a great time. Yeah.
So Shah Rukh or Salman, who's the better co-actor?
Why not both? Maybe in Fateh 2, they both should do a cameo.
Ooh. That's a scoop I was looking for. One advice to the young generation.
I think be focused, have patience, patience pace, spend less time on social media, spend more time with family. And it's very, very important. And yeah, I think that's the way it should be.
One word for Yo-Yo Honey Singh.
Rockstar.
Okay. And last but not the least, what is Fateh to Sonu Sood? Last.
Yeah. Fateh 2 is something that I've lived in last couple of years, and it's very, very close to me. I think the closest film that I have in last 22 years.
Thank you so much, Sonu, for speaking to News9. It was a lovely chat. All the best.
And the 97th Oscar nominations are delayed to 19th of January due to Southern California wildfires, which have now killed 24 and displaced thousands. Remember, the wildfires have impacted stars like Ben Affleck, Mandy Moore, Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Also posted a shout out for those helping in the moment of distress. My colleague Sakshi Litoria has more.
The announcement of the 97th Academy Awards nomination, initially scheduled for January 17th, has now been delayed to January 19th due to the devastating wildfires ravaging Southern California. In an email to the members, Academy CEO Bill Kramer expressed condolences for those affected, particularly the members and colleagues living in Los Angeles. As a result, the Oscar nomination voting deadline has now been extended by 2 days to January 14th. Initially, it was January 12th. Now, the wildfires which erupted in the Hollywood Hills have caused widespread destruction, killing 5 people, injuring many and forcing 100,000 residents to evacuate from their houses. Iconic neighborhoods like Pacific Palisades, home to many Hollywood stars, have been severely impacted because of these wildfires. Celebrities including Ben Affleck, Mandy Moore, Paris Hilton and James Woods were among those who were forced to evacuate their homes. Moore, in fact, shared a heartbreak on social media, expressing gratitude for her family's safety, but also mourning the loss of her home and community. Amid this crisis, several events have been rescheduled, including the Critics' Choice Awards, now set for January 26th. While the Oscars nomination announcement is delayed, the focus is on the safety and recovery of those affected by these fires, with celebrities like Priyanka Chopra Jonas also praising the bravery of first responders.
And that's all we have on the show. You're watching News9. News and updates will continue on the other side.